Page 9. Model Set 2. Continued. Read the following passage carefully and answer the following questions, number 1 to 5. Para. The Shakespeare concordances and dictionaries help us to appreciate this wealth and also the divergent meanings that words had in his time. Shakespeare did not believe in eating pepper and drinking ink, but his English is far removed from contemporary English because words had different meanings then. A character speaks of a humorous night in Romeo and Juliet. Here, humorous does not mean a night on which a romantic comedy is staged, but a damp night. Similarly, in quote, it is nipping and an eager air, unquote, comma. The word eager means sharp and refers to the cold wind on a wintry night. Shakespeare's language is not well understood even in the public schools in the United Kingdom today. A public school student is said to have written in an examination script, quote, Shakespeare was a polite gentleman, stop. He said, go to, but never completed his sentence, unquote, stop. Abbott and other grammarians have written interestingly on the grammar of Elizabethan English, the shift of parts of speech, the nonce, N-O-N-C-E words, and so on. Para. Careful studies have been made of Shakespeare's style. It has been shown by Middleton Murray and others how words like earnest and royal can be regarded as keys to the play in which they figure. Othello, Antony, and Cleopatra. All the important characters speak in their own individual idiom. Hamlet has the habit of repeating a word 3 times, and Claudius indulges in rhetoric in order to conceal his insincerity. But the defects of Shakespeare's style have also attracted attention. Shakespeare's rhetoric and bombast and his mixed metaphors, as in quote, taking arms against the sea of troubles, unquote, have been pleasantly glanced at. Dr. Johnson had already pointed out to the reader how a quibble or pun influenced Shakespeare, like Fatal Cleopatra. More significant work has been done on Shakespeare's symbolism and imagery. Wilson Knight, Middleton Murray, Miss Spargeon, and Clement have made remarkable contributions in this field. Wilson Knight showed how each play could be viewed as an extended metaphor, and how in both the tragedies and the romances, 3 figures of the villain, the hero and the heroine as redeemer, are found. Even celebrated characters like Falstaff, Hamlet, or Prospero are as symbolic as they are individual and typical in the play in which they figure. But too exclusive a concentration on imagery and symbolism leads to a fermentation of Shakespeare's plays. It is better to study them comprehensively in all their aspects rather than isolate their imagery and try to see the whole in a part, as it were. Para. Shakespeare's use of prose and verse and of the transition from the one to the other have been carefully studied. Even the characteristics of the blank verse of Shakespeare as handled by him at different times in his career have been fixed, and the proportion of end-stopped lines to run-on lines has been used to determine the chronology of plays. But a detailed metrical analysis of at least the great passages in Shakespeare does not seem to have claimed the attention of critics as yet. A line like, quote, blow, comma, winds, exclamation, and crack your checks! Rage! Blow! Unquote, is as dramatic as it is lyrical. Other men have surpassed him at this point and that, but no one has ever rivaled him in the range and versatility of his powers. He was, though not equally, at home in tragedy and comedy, and his genius took in innumerable aspects of both. He was supreme not only as a dramatist but also as a poet, whom the worlds of high imagination and delicate fancy were alike open. And while not himself a very profound or very original thinker, he possessed in a superlative degree the faculty of digesting thought into phraseology so memorable and so final that, as we all know, he is the most often quoted of all our writers. He was almost entirely free from dogmatism of any kind, and his tolerance was as comprehensive as his outlook. In the vitality of his characterization in particular, he is unparalleled. No one else has created so many men and women whom we accept and treat not as figments of a poet's brain, but as absolutely and completely alive. His unique command over the resources of the language must also be noted. Page 10. His vocabulary is computed to run to some 15,000 words, while that of Milton contains scarcely more than half that number. Para. The greatness of Shakespeare's work is apt to blind critics to his limitation and defects, but these must, of course, be recognized in any estimate of him, or otherwise we shall get him out of his proper focus. Broad as he was essentially a man of his time, and while his plays are remarkable for their general truth to what is permanent in human nature, still his interpretation of human nature is that of an age, in many respects, very different from our own. He wrote hurriedly, and signs of hasty and ill-considered production are often apparent. Designing his plays expressly for the stage and anxious to secure their success under the actual conditions of stage representation, he was willing at times to sacrifice consistency of character and the finer demands of art to the achievement of a telling theatrical effect. In his occasional coarseness, he reflects the low taste of the groundlings, unquote, to whom he had to appeal. At places, his psychology is hopelessly crude and unconvincing. His style vicious, his wit forced and poor, his tragic language bombastic. 1. Which of the following books has been called, quote, the true prologue of Renaissance, unquote, and the first modern monument of socialism? A. Utopia. 2. As a writer of sonnets, Sir Philip Sidney was influenced by C. Petrarch. 3. How many sonnets did Shakespeare compose? A. 154. 4. Who wrote the famous lines, "Since there's no help, come let us kiss and part, nay, I have done, yet get no more of me, and I'm glad, glad with my all my heart, that thus so cleanly I myself may free." D. Drayton. 5. Who wrote Delia? A. Samuel Daniel. 6. The meaning of Widsith, Widsith in Old English is D. Wanderer. 7. The name of William Golding's first novel is B. Lord of the Flies. 8. In this Progress and Poverty, Henry George is influenced by C. The Marxian system. 9. Which of the following arrangements of Jane Austen's novels is in correct chronological sequence? C. Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Northanger Abbey, Mansfield Park, Emma, Persuasion. 10. Rebecca and Rowena appear as dull heroines in Sir Walter Scott's B. Ivanhoe. 11. Who among the following playwrights is known for his love for cricket? B. Harold Pinter. 12. The introduction to the 1987 edition of an anthology of 20th century New Zealand poetry was written by B. Vincent O. Sullivan. Page 11. 13. Identify the correct group consisting of Wallington group of poets. C. John K. Baxter, W. H. Oliver, Alistair Campbell, Louis Johnson. 14. Who among the following writers won the Booker Prize for Literature in 1985? A. Carey Hume. 15. The novels of the early period in New Zealand were written on Maori life. Who were the Maori? C. The earliest inhabitants of New Zealand. 16. What is a heroic couplet? C. It is a two-line stanza having two rhyming lines in iambic pentameter. 17. What is meant by enjambed couplets? B. The couplets in which the sense runs on from one couplet to another. 18. What is an alexandrine? B. A line of 6 iambic feet occasionally used in a heroic couplet. 19. What is terza rima? C. Terza rima is a run-on 3-line stanza with a fixed rhyme scheme. 20. What is rhyme royal stanza? B. Rhyme royal stanza is a 7-line stanza in iambic pentameter. 21. Astrophel and Stella has been written by D. Sidney. 22. Humanism is a term which strictly applies to A. A Renaissance cultural movement which turned away from medieval scholasticism and revived interest in ancient Greek and Roman thought. 23. Spenser has been hailed as, quote, the poet's poet, unquote, by B. Charles Lamb. 24. Spenser's famous ode, Epithalamion, commemorates the occasion of A. his marriage with Elizabeth Boyle. 25. Holy War and Profane State was written by B. Thomas Fuller. 26. According to which school, quote, language a seriously constructed psi system is itself a material reality, unquote. B. Formalism, page 12. 27. Formalism views literature primarily as a specialized mode of D. language. 28. The distinction between story and plot is very important to the A. Russian formalist theory, B. French formalist theory. 29. What is the subtitle of Ben Jonson's Volpone? B. The Fox. 30. What is the subtitle of Ben Jonson's Epicene? A. The Man. 31. Which of the following novels is not written by Sir Walter Scott? A. The Knight of Gyme, Gyme. A. The Knight, Knight of Gyne, Gynne. 32. Elizabeth Bennet and Darcy are characters in Jane Austen's C. Pride and Prejudice. 33. Who is known as, quote, the peasant poet, unquote? A. John Clare. 34. Mr. Collins is a character in A. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. 35. Which of the following works has been called the Magna Carta of Romanticism? B. Lyrical Ballads. 36. John Selden's Table Talk appeared in D. 1689. 37. A Cypress Grove, published in 1623, is written by C. William Drummond of Hawthornden. 38. Name the poet whose poems were not published during his lifetime. B. George Herbert. 39. The authorized version of the Bible, a work of 47 scholars, appeared in B. 1611. 40. Who nominated the 47 scholars who prepared the authorized version of the Bible? B. James I. 41. The authorized version of the Bible is known as A. the first classic in English prose. 42. Who is called, quote, the father of English novel, unquote? A. Henry Fielding. 43. Fielding Joseph Andrews emerges as the pioneer of the B. novel of manners. 44. Who propounded the theory of novel writing? C. Henry Fielding in the prefaces of Tom Jones and Joseph Andrews. Page 13. 45. Who defined the novel as, quote, a comic epic in prose, unquote? C. Henry Fielding. 46. What is Ottawa Rima? A. It is an 8-line stanza in iambic pentameter with a fixed rhyme scheme. 47. What is Spenserian stanza? A. It is a 9-line stanza consisting of 2 quatrains in iambic pentameter rounded off with an alexandrine. 48. Songs and sonnets known as Tottle's Miscellany appeared in A. 1557. 49. Who introduced sonnet for the first time in English poetry? B. Wyatt and Surrey. 50. Arcadia is a C. Romans. 51. Which of the following deals with enchanting American girl in Europe? A. Daisy Miller. 52. Henry James's The Turn of the Screw contains an enigmatic C. ghost story. 53. Edith Wharton, Wharton, is known for which work? C. The Age of Innocence. 54. Which is the best-known novel of Stephen Crane? D. Maggie, A Girl of the Streets. 55. Stephen Crane in Maggie, A Girl of the Streets depicted the life of C. Saints. 56. Who wrote Sister Carrie? Carrie. A. Stephen Crane. 57. Who labeled a group of American literary notables as the, quote, lost generation, unquote? D. T.S. Eliot. 58. Who among the following influenced by Ezra Pound? C. Scott Fitzgerald. 59. Who among the following finds out the masculine gender in English? C. Del Spender. 60. Which of the following does not focus on male protagonists who embody masculine traits and field of action? B. As You Like It. Page 1461. Who was the first Indian author to win a literary award in the United States? A. Dhanagopal Mukherjee. 62. The Autobiography of an Unknown Indian is the best work of B. Nirod C. Choudhury. 63. Who translated the entire Mahabharata into English? D. P. Lal. 64. Graham Greene was the close friend of C. R.K. Narayan. 65. Narayan created the fictitious town of Malgudi, which is similar to A. Thomas Hardy's Wessex. 66. In which play Dekker collaborated with Massinger? D. The Virgin Martyr. 67. Thomas Middleton's A Mad World, My Master was published in B. 1623. 68. Which of the following plays of Middleton is praised by Lamb and other writers? C. The Witch. 69. Who was the first Indian writer in English? A. Sheikh Deen Mahomet. 70. Rabindranath Tagore's Gitanjali was originally written in D. Bengali. 71. Which of the following rejects the symbolic order? B. Radical feminism. 72. Which of the following demands equal access to the symbolic order? B. Liberal feminism. 73. In which phase women writers 73. In which phase women writers initiated, 73. In which phase women writers imitated the male writers in their norms and artistic standards? A feminine phase, 1840 to 1880. 74. Which of the following phase has a distinct female identity, style and content? A female phase. 75. Russian formalism flourished during C. 1915 to 1930. Model set 3, page 15. 1. Lesbian or gay criticism is an extension of B. Feminism. 2. Who does not show same-sex relations or expressed sexual desire for members of the same sex? A. Chaucer. 3. Modernism dominated life, arts and literature in the ... of the 20th century. C. First half. 4. Who is not a modernist novelist? B. William Blake. 5. Eliot's The Waste Land, 1922, is the best example of D. Modernism. 6. Who considered the rhyme is, quote, no necessary adjunct or true ornament of a poem or good verse, unquote. C. Milton. 7. Full fathom 5 thy father lies. Identify the figure of speech in this line. C. Alliteration. 8. Elegy is a form of B. Reflective poetry. 9. What is meant by prosody? D. It is science of all the three mentioned above. 10. What is meant by rhetoric? A. Art of using language effectively or impressively. 11. Which of the following poems was written on the 11. Which of the following poems was written on the 300th anniversary of Abel Tasman's discovery of New Zealand on December 30, 1642? D. Alan Carno's Landfall in the Unknown Sea. 12. Identify the correct group consisting of modern critics. A. J. C. Ransom, R. P. Blackmore, Alan Tate, Robert Penn Warren, William K. Wimsatt. 13. Seven Types of Ambiguity, 1930, is written by C. William Empson. 14. Quote, a poem should not mean but be, unquote, is found in B. William K. Wimsatt's The Verbal Ion, I-E-O-N. 15. New criticism is applied to A. Anglo-American criticism. 16. Who among the following was the pioneer of aesthetic movement, also known as aestheticism, towards the close of the 19th century? C. Oscar Wilde. Page 16. 17. Who among the following writers was a gay? A. Oscar Wilde. 18. The expression broad church was proposed by B. A. H. Clough, Clough. 19. In which poem the following lines occur? Quote, grow old along with me, comma, the best is yet to be, unquote, stop. B. Rabbi Ben Ezra. 20. Which of Browning's poems did Tennyson complain that it was unintelligible to him, except for the first and the last lines, both of which were wrong? C. Sordello. 21. The Land and the People and Other Poems is written by B. Charles Brosch. Brosch. 22. Whose poems are collected in a small room with large windows and landfall in unknown seas? C. Alan Carnot. 23. Who was the leader of Wellington group of poets? C. James K. Baxter. 24. His early poetry is romantic and imaginative, but in later poetry he emerges as an exponent of modernism. Identify the poet. B. Alistair Campbell. 25. Who among the following writers is the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature? A. Patrick White. Read the following passage carefully and answer the following questions, number 26 to 30, para. Mulkraj Anand is the harbinger of social change, and he has exposed with frankness the shams and hypocrisy underlying the polished veneer of social life with Dickensian piquancy of realism. In Untouchable, Coolie, The Road, Two Leaves and a Bud, and The Big Heart, he emerges as the champion of the underdogs and a crusader against social distinctions and man-made barriers which divide humanity. Para. The Village trilogy, consisting of The Village, Across the Black Water, and The Sword and the Sickle, deals with the theme of the disintegration of village community. Gauri ruthlessly exposes the exploitation of women. Education, which is the backbone of culture and national progress, has been dealt with in Mourning Face, The Village and the Road, and Lament on the Death of a Master of Arts is a, quote, dig at modern education which, ... leaves man a misfit, unquote, stop. The Sword and the Sickle, Private Life of an Indian Prince and Death of a Hero deal with political theme. 7 Summers, Mourning Face, Confession of a Lover, and The Bubble are autobiographical novels. Para. Anand's fictional craftsmanship is superb. Plot, characters, setting, style, and language in his novels function together to reveal his vision of man and society. All his novels are born of the union of experience and imagination. Anand did his best to domesticate or Indianize English. His fictional technique communicates his vision of life. He does not stick to any particular form. He adopts the epical, dramatic, or epistology or Peckeresque form as the subject demands. Para. Both as a humanist, realist, and as a pioneer of nativization technique, Anand would enjoy an unassailable place and would continue to inspire and influence the future generation of Indian English novelists. Question 26. Mulkraj Anand was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award for B. Mourning Face, page 17. 27. Anand's The Village trilogy consists of A. The Village Across, The Black Water, The Sword and the Sickle. 28. Bakha, B-A-K-H, is the central character in Anand's Untouchable. 29. Who was the winner of the first Sahitya Academy Award? A. R.K. Narayan. 30. Which is the debut novel written in 1935 of Mulk Raj Anand? D. The Untouchable. 31. The hero of Paradise Lost is D. Man. 32. Who called Milton, quote, God-gifted organ voice of England, unquote, and the, quote, mighty-mouthed inventor of harmonies, unquote? C. Lord Tennyson. 33. The age of Milton has been called the era of epic poetry. 34. The character writers of the 17th century were influenced by B. Theophrastus and Seneca. 35. Identify the group of novelists known as, quote, the four wheels of novel, unquote. D. Samuel Richardson, Henry Fielding, Tobias Smollett, Lawrence Sterne. 36. Whose works are known as, quote, fictional biographies, unquote? A. Daniel Defoe. 37. Which of the following arrangements of Daniel Defoe's work is correct in chronological sequence? B. Robinson Crusoe, Captain Singleton, Moll Flanders, Colonel Jack, Journal of the Plague Year. 38. Swift's Gulliver Travels appeared in B. 1726-27. 39. Who are creatures of impulse without reason or common sense in Swift's Gulliver's Travels? D. Yahoos. 40. Richardson's Pamela is a novel in the C. epistolary form. 41. Identify the last line of Whitman's Passage to India. B. O father, farther, farther sail. 42. The generally accepted date of the death of Plato is C. 348 BC. Page 18. 43. It is generally believed that Aristotle was born in B. 384 BC. 44. Aristotle was engaged as tutor to C. Alexander. 45. Who among the following poets is considered as the first original and gifted poet in New Zealand? A. Mason. 46. Who expressed the opinion that Samuel Richardson, quote, taught the passions to move at the command of virtue, unquote? A. Dr. Johnson. 47. In which of the following consonants is not considered redundant? C. R. 48. In which meter is Shelley's Ode to the West Wind is written? A. Tarza Rima. 49. Who wrote the following lines, quote, it is sweet to hear the watchdog's honest bark, bay deep-mouthed welcome as we near our home, unquote? B. Byron. 50. Who wrote the following lines, quote, the cock's shrill clarion and the echoing horn no more shall rouse than from their lowly bed, unquote? C. Gray. 51. The Life of Sir Walter Scott was written by C. Lockhart. 52. In which year Waverley, the very first novel of Scott's Waverley's series, was published? C. 1814. 53. Sir Walter Scott brought to the historical novel A. a knowledge that was pedantically exact but manageable, wide and bountiful. To the sum of his knowledge he added a life-giving force, a vitalizing energy, an insight, and a general dexterity that made his historical novel an entirely new species. 54. Identify the correct group consisting of the stalwarts of the Oxford movement. B. John Cable, Cardinal Newman, Pusey, P-U-S-E-Y, R.H. Froude, F-R-O-U-D-E. 55. Lead Kindly Light is a famous poem by A. Cardinal Newman. 56. Natty Bumppo, Nattybumpo is a character in A. James Fenimore Cooper's The Pathfinder. 57. George Orwell's Keep the Aspidistra Flying, 1936, deals with his contempt for the ... society. C. Upper middle class. 58. Which novel shows a love-hate attitude towards the idea of empire? A. Burmese Days, 1934. Page 19. 59. In which novel George Orwell paints the picture, I think it should be George Orwell, paints the picture of squalor and hopelessness? D. The Road to Veganpire, 1957. 60. George Orwell's Animal Farm, 1945, deals with communist ideals into C. Doctorship. 61. Silas Marner had a melodramatic B. Preface. 62. George Eliot's impressions of Theophrastus, such as the collection of B. Speeches. 63. Who influenced the journal The Examiner? D. Leigh Hunt. 64. Leigh Hunt's well-known poem is D. The Story of Rimini, 1816. 65. Who wrote the novel of Sir Ralph Esher? C. Leigh Hunt. 66. Which of the following is not a short story collection? A. The Portrait of a Lady, 1881. 67. James wrote for his students. C. Notes on Novelists, 1914. 68. Who wrote the Notebooks of Henry James, 1947? D. Henry James. 69. What was the full name of Joseph Conrad? B. Joseph, Joseph, Theodore, Teodor, Conrad, Konrad, Naleez, Naleez, Korzenowski, Korzdniowski. 70. Which novel of Joseph Conrad is based on his experiences of Malaya? C. An Outcast of the Islands, 1896. 71. Which novel of Charlotte Bronte was published posthumously? D. Jane Eyre. 72. Charlotte Bronte's first novel was C. Wuthering Heights. 73. Who wrote Wuthering Heights, 1847? D. Emily Bronte. 74. Mary Ann Evans wrote under the pen name of D. George Meredith. 75. Which of the following work of George Eliot is partly autobiographical? A. Silas Marner, 1861. Page 20. Model set 4. 1. Which of the following poems of Chaucer is not in English? A. The Canterbury Tales. 2. How many pilgrims go on a pilgrimage to the tomb of Thomas a Becket? C. 29, including Chaucer. 3. Who tells the last tale in the Canterbury Tales? A. The Parson, Parson. 4. The Tabard Inn is situated in C. Southwark. 5. How many tales are in the Canterbury Tales? C. 20 finished and 4 partly completed. 6. Which of the following is the sequel of Milton's Paradise Lost? C. Paradise Regained. 7. Milton's Samson Agonistes is a C. Greek tragedy. 8. Which of the following poem justifies the ways of God to men? D. Paradise Lost. 9. Which poem is the first known attempt in English to use the heroic couplet? C. Chaucer's The Legend of Good Women. 10. Which book is considered the first novel in English literature? D. Troilus and Cresside. 11. Who wrote Shakespearean Restores 1726? C. Alexander Pope. 12. Who wrote El Allegro? C. John Milton. 13. Milton's Lycidas is an elegy on the death of his friend A. Edward King. 14. Milton's On His Blindness is a D. sonnet. 15. Milton's Paradise Lost was begun in 1658 and issued in 1667. It was divided into ... books. A. 10. 16. Whose fiction is described as the novel of incident? D. Daniel Defoe. 17. Which of the following is the well-known work of Daniel Defoe? A. Robinson Crusoe. Page 21. 18. Pope's An Essay on Criticism 1711 is a poetic work. It was written in C. Heroic couplet. 19. Pope's The Rape of the Lock was published in B. 1712. 20. Pope added Machinery of Sylph, Sylph, to the original version of The Rape of the Lock. It was reissued in D. 1714. 21. Who among the following is a peasant poet? D. John Clare. 22. Which of the following is the best-known poem of John Clare? A. The Shepherd's Calendar, 1827. 23. William Cullen Bryant was the first ... poet. C. Australian. 24. Who is called the father of historical novel? B. Sir Walter Scott. 25. Which of the following is the political work of Daniel Defoe? D. Captain Singleton. 26. Who is considered the chief among the Scottish Chaucerian poets? C. Dunbar. 27. Which of the following poems of Dunbar is written in the celebration of the marriage of James IV? A. The Thresil and the Royce. 28. Wordsworth in The Solitary Reaper address to an inanimate entity as, quote, "Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass." This address is an example of B apostrophe. 29. Keats' Isabella is written in D octave rima. 30. Quote, "In a summer season when soft was the sun," unquote, is an example of C alliteration. 31. John Whiting's The Devils 1961 deals with the theme of C salvation. 32. H.W. Longfellow and J.R. Lowell are called A. the Brahmin poets. 33. Which of the following novels is written by Sherwood Anderson? A. Marching Men. 34. Who among the following won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1950? C. William Faulkner. Page 22. 35. Identify the correct group of novelists who belong to, quote, the lost generation, unquote, in American literature. A. Hemingway, Faulkner, F. Scott Fitzgerald, John Dos Passos, Sinclair Lewis. 36. Who among the following was the famous minister of Zenobia, Queen of Palmyra? C. Longinus. 37. Longinus believes that sublimity is the result of collaboration of A. Nature. 38. How many sources of sublime are defined by Longinus? D. 5. 39. Which of the following is not the source of sublimity? B. Use of meter. 40. Beckett's Waiting for Godot 1952, originally written in D. French. 41. Waiting for Godot, 1952's English translation came in A. 1955. 42. Which play of Beckett suggests despair of a society? D. Endgame, 1955. 43. Which of the following play is imaginatively farcical? A. A Penny for a Song, 1951. 44. John Whiting's A Marching Song, 1954, deals with B. Self-reputation. 45. Which play is based on Aldous Huxley's The Devil of Loudon? D. Flare Path, 1942. 46. Which poem is written in Christabel meter? D. The Lay of the Last Minstrel, 1805. 47. Sir Walter Scott's best-known work is B. The Lady of the Lake, 1810. 48. Which of the following derived its title from a prison of Edinburgh? D. The Heart of Midlothian, 1818. 49. Which of the following represents the scene of England? A. Ivanhoe, 1820. 50. Which of the following deals with murder of Lady Leicester? C. Kenilworth, 1821. Page 23. 51. Who wrote The Life of Napoleon, 1827? D. Sir Walter Scott. 52. Which of the following poem contains the portraits of Addison? A. Epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot. 53. Which poem of Pope discusses the man's place in the universe? B. An Essay on Man. 54. Which of the following poem of Pope is known by its other title, Prologue to the Satires? D. Epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot. 55. Who wrote Windsor Forest, 1713? C. Alexander Pope. 56. Which of the following is the best work of John Gay? A. The Beggar's Opera. 57. Johnson wrote periodical essays for A. The Rambler. 58. The Rambler appeared ... in a week. D. Twice. 59. Where the tomb of Thomas a Becket is situated? A. Canterbury. 60. Which poem of Gower is written in French? A. Speculum Meditantis. 61. In Samson Agonistus. 61. In Samson Agonistus, Samson is a prisoner of the B. Philistines. 62. Milton's Paradise Lost was reissued in 1674. It was redivided into ... books. D. 12. 63. The sonnet on the late massacre in Piedmont was written by B. Milton. 64. Who wrote The Collar? D. George Herbert. 65. Who among the following is not a metaphysical poet? C. John Milton. 66. Who wrote Thalia Rediviva? D. Henry Vaughan, Vaughan. 67. Which of the following poem is not written by Henry Vaughan? B. Steps to the Temple. 68. Which of the following represents rural background? C. Scenes of Clerical Life, 1857, page 24. 69. Which work is considered a dissertation than a novel? B. Vittoria, 1867. 70. Which novel contains the details of Meredith's own family life? C. The Ordeal of Richard Feverel, 1859. 71. Whose novel's name was afterward changed to Sandra Belloni? B. The Amazing Marriage, 1895. 72. What is the sequel of Sandra Belloni? D. The Tragic Comedians, 1880. 73. Meredith's best work is C. The Egoist, 1879. 74. Who is known for the Condition of England novel? C. Meredith. 75. Which of the following is considered the work of editing old material? C. The Minstrelsy of the Scottish Border. Stop.